Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Ellouise and Joseph Field. Welcome to Love in Real Life, where we talk all things relationships. Now, we don't have any real claim to as experts, but combined, we have 85 plus years of marital experience, and that has taught us how to lead conversations, such as, do you have agreement before alignment? Did you know that potentials have expiration dates? Our goal is to help prepare you for relationship resets as we all continue the work of becoming the best version of ourselves. So you're in the right place at the right time. Let's get this big segment of Love in Real Life started. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello to all my real lovers out here in Radio Land. We're just so happy to be with you today because today we are hitting the reset button on family relationships.
Oh, we're in trouble.
But there's always help.
There's always help. Yep, there always is. And we're mighty glad to be here with y'all. Hope that there's some folks out there trusting that needs to hear this, and it'll touch it. Before we're through, I think we'll touch about everybody in one form. It touches me anyway.
Okay, great. Well, when I think about family relationships, they have changed over time. And, back in the day, it was a mother and father and the kids. And then as time has gone on because of society and things like that, the family relationships today are more diverse and complex than in past decades and have been shaped by the shifting social norms, economic pressures, and changing gender roles, which has impacted our families to be something different than what God's original plan was. So, what are your thoughts on
Well,
family?
I thought about Ephesians 6:1-4, and it teaches that children are to obey their parents, children are to honor their parents, and also that parents shouldn't exasperate their children, and they need to be bringing them up in the instruction of the Lord. So there's equal responsibilities on both sides of that. And I was trying to think about, what are some family behaviors that repeat themselves for better or for worse, because so much of what happens in our world today is based on what we experience as parents and people who are in that role experienced as they were growing up. We have classical conditioning, and don't get concerned with that. I got lots of examples here that I tried to think of today. In family relationships, there is an unconscious learning process. You don't think about it. Let me illustrate, because it happened to me yesterday, and Ellouise will be my witness on this thing. Yes, she will. When Pavlov was he was a behavioral psychologist, and he had his training with his dogs, and he's famous, and everybody who's been in psychology knows who Pavlov is, because he got his dogs, and he would ring a bell and give the dogs something to eat. And then the next time he would do it, he would ring the bell and give the dogs something to eat, ring the bell, give the dogs something to eat, until he got to the point he rang the bell and the dogs would salivate. Okay, without even getting the food. Okay, I had to go to my regular 6-month doctor's appointment yesterday. I had no concerns. There's nothing wrong with me. Stephen was talking about doing a 5K. I just ran a 5K on July 18th. First place in my division. Of course, that don't mean, Stephen, that doesn't mean much, because that's the 70 to 74 age division.
It still means something, though.
It's not much more than a slow jog. It don't take a lot to win in that division. But anyway, so my point is, there's nothing wrong with me. No problems. Got all my medicine hadn't changed. Nothing. But yet, as we drove to the doctor's office, I could feel my blood pressure going up.
An hour and a half drive,
and it was way high when I got there. And even though I know all the breathing techniques, I'm sitting there in the waiting room. I'm trying to deep breathe, just relax. I can feel it coming up. then there's no reason for it. Okay, so that's that unconscious conditioning. And I got home, by the way, took a nap and rested, and it was down 40 points from where it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have these environmental situations, scenarios where there's a sensory cue that's repeatedly paired with an emotional or physical response, and over time the cue triggers its own. And let me illustrate. I've tried to find lots of illustrations of this. Here's scenario number one. A child experiences frequently harsh yelling or physical punishment. That's the scenario from a parent. The conditioning that takes place here is when the child hears the parent's footsteps coming, he knows he's about to get it. Or when the front door hears the front door open and slam shut, hears that, and then the child palms begin to sweat, heart begins to race. We're associating it with this. Another illustration I thought of.
You hear that car lock. You know, doop, 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 doop.
Yeah. You know you're in trouble. Well, we had where I worked before I retired, we had a lady who was the office manager, and most of the office managers came to work in jeans and sneakers, and oh, not this one. Nope, she came and she was attractive, slim, young woman. Hair's all done, makeup's all done, and she wore them stiletto heels to work, and she was in charge and commanding, and I appreciate she was the office manager. Okay, so when the office, and then we had a little recreation area for dining area, and then you came out to the warehouse. And so, when we heard those high heels coming, which just reverberated in that, when we heard the clackety, 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 we knew that she was coming and that there was no problem. She was either coming out to see or get something or whatever, But when we heard it going clackety, 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 we knew somebody had filled out one of the customers' tickets wrong. Somebody was we just all stopped. Okay, here she comes. Okay. That's classical conditioning. That's learned fear and avoidance. So go ahead. I got too much stuff for today.
Okay. Well, when I think about family according to the Bible, it is a divinely ordained unit rooted in love, commitment, and mutual support, and encompasses both biological relationships and spiritual kinship among believers. A family presents the primary building block of human society established by God from the beginning. So when we look at what the family looks like today compared to what God's intent for the family was, we can see where the breakdown is, and we can also attribute that to the issues, problems, and evils of the world that we experience today. So we have families today that look different than God's original plan. But what can we do to get back to that? And we'll talk about that more at the end. But that's the question for today. What can we do to get our families back to closer to the original pattern or the intent of God's heart about what a family is? And again, God doesn't limit family to blood. Even Jesus said, my family is not limited to my blood relatives. So you can be related because you're part of the body of Christ. But what can we do? That's the question for the audience. What can we do to help our families get back closer to the original intent of what God had in mind?
So healthy family relationships are built through intentional shaping of behavior. Healthy family relationships are built through intentional shaping of behaviors, actively building, actively engaging in reinforcement, in modeling skills, and being aware and being thoughtful of your conduct, which is why I today was leaning heavy on all these types of conditioning, and to do another. And I tried to mix it up. Another one is called conditioned comfort and attachment. And the scenario here is we've got a primary caregiver dealing with a child, an infant or a child. And if that primary caregiver consistently responds to the crying child with warmth or with holding them or feeding them, If it's mama kissing your ouchie, for the littlest ones, then that. If it's a child who's fearful or injured, that's the scenario. And the conditioning that happens is the caregiver's voice, whatever it might be, grandma, it might be mom, it might be dad, it might be a babysitter or somebody taking care of them. Just the sound of that voice, they become conditions. Or even though mama kissing the ouchie doesn't really heal it, it's going to get better because that happens. Maybe a distinct perfume that wouldn't help me because I can't smell nothing. But might be a specific rocking rhythm as we pick them up and bounce them and do whatever. And the outcome as the child grows, simply hearing that caregiver's voice, simply feeling that rocking motion, or maybe smelling that perfume that whoever wore, whatever, soothes the child anxiety. And I've seen this carried over even into adulthood, when the son or the daughter, just as adults and raising their own kids, just need to call mom and hear her voice, or call dad and just hear his voice. And it's just, then you relax. But the thing that we have to be doing is actively looking at and being aware of these behaviors and these reactions. We have to actively study the interpersonal relationships in families and build through intentional shaping of behavior.
Yeah, I know that going through life, I had got to a point where I questioned everything I did. Why do I parent this way? Why am I this kind of wife? Why am I this kind of person? All that. And I intentionally changed my behavior, how I dealt with my kids. And it used to get frustrated and aggravated, irritated. All them taters would be there. And I would yell and raise my voice. And, like you used the example earlier, well, if that is what you're doing to your child, you're teaching them how to be afraid of you. They don't respect you. They don't honor you, but they will obey you because they're afraid of you. Or they will obey you because they want to avoid all of the extra drama and traumatizing that you're doing to them. I didn't realize that's what I was doing to my kids, traumatizing them by yelling at them. I wasn't a parent that cursed and cussed my kids out. I hear people do that today, and I have to catch myself. That's not my lane. That's not your child. But sometimes I see it and I want to say, look, you're doing the most. Just stop that right now. But when I changed and I could get more out of my child by saying, I'm trying to understand why you thought that was the right thing to do. And I am just really disappointed in you right now. I could get much more out of my child with that behavior than hollering and screaming at them. They wasn't on my level. They're my child. And also another thing that I think we learned and were taught, that the baby, just let the baby cry. If the baby is, you fed the baby, burp the baby, change the baby, put the baby down and just let it cry. Why do we do that? Crying is the only language a baby has. It's trying to tell you something is wrong. It needs to feel that sense of self-worth and security by you holding the baby. Hold it. I don't care. Hold the baby until the baby stops crying. It ain't going to be hours. And if it is, maybe your baby is colicky and then you need to do some additional things. But I remember my youngest daughter, she had her second child. And we were going around the corner from my oldest daughter's home to my home, probably 5 blocks. And as soon as we pulled off, she had strapped the baby in the car seat and the baby started crying. I pulled over. I said, get that baby out that car seat and hold her because she's crying. She needs something. And we're not going to ride 5 blocks with that baby crying. Because what are you teaching your child if you just let your child cry? That's the only way they have to communicate with you. But yet somebody told you it's good for them. No, it's not. Is crying good for you? When you cry, do you want people to ignore you and just let you get it out? You'll be okay. No, that is a misnomer, a right out lie, straight from the pit of hell to create more trauma. So if your baby is crying, all you mothers and grandmothers out there, tend to your, because As a grandmother, I would never. As a mother, that's what I was taught, so that's what I did. But even before I finished parenting, I learned better. Don't just let your baby cry. I don't care if a doctor, psychologist, whatever, you tell them Dr. Ellouise said not to let my baby cry, that my baby's language, the way he or she communicates with me is through her crying. That's the only way they have to communicate until they get older. And then we teach them, use your words. Okay, I understand. Just take a moment, get it out, and then breathe, and then we're going to use your words. But if they have no words to use, how are they supposed to tell you? Maybe they're afraid and they don't know how does an infant tell you they're afraid? Because they're way more sensitive than we ever are. How do they tell you they're afraid without crying? But you mad, you pissed off because they cry. Stop it. Get that baby, love that baby. That baby didn't ask to be here. And I'm sorry for anybody who's gone through situations where the baby daddy, soon as he pumped that baby in you, then he was ghost to girl number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. The baby didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
So now that you have this responsibility, it's unfair the way society is. The guys get to go pump and play, and the girls are stuck with the responsibility. Nevertheless, don't take out on that child because you angry at that man. You angry at that boyfriend. You angry at boo and babe and whatever you want to call him. Don't take it out on your child.
Amen.
Because your child did not ask to be here and does not deserve to be treated in that way.
But when you were talking about how you reacted to the first ones when you were yelling and all that, what brought you to make that change?
I learned about parenting.
Okay.
Again, my point.
There you go.
One of the least things we teach people about is how to be a good parent and how to be a good spouse, but we are expected to be excellent at it. How am I going to be excellent with wrong information or no information?
So we tend to model our behavior, and we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to learn about relationships through imitations, spouses, and parents learn how to handle conflict, express affection.
Some parents don't want to handle conflict. We don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
Don't talk about it. We ain't going to talk about it. If we don't talk about it, it'll just disappear. It'll be okay. No, you are stuffing that stuff, and one day it's going to explode, and then people are snapping and going postal because we didn't learn how to handle conflict.
That's called negative reinforcement. That occurs when a behavior is strengthened by removing an unpleasant stimulus. In marriages, it often manifests itself as conflict avoidance. You're not solving anything. You're avoiding the situation. And
I'm not having none of that. I had that served in the last marriage. This marriage, no avoidance.
When
we don't talk about
one
it.
partner gives in to stop the nagging or the almighty dreaded man-feared silent treatment, where she just won't
we're
say.
Not doing that either. We're not. If I'm gonna be silent, I'm gonna be by myself. Just for real. It's a reason for silence when you're by yourself.
I decided to use partner A and partner B rather than the man and the wife in my illustrations of this one. But the partner A, don't be kicking me under the table.
It was an accident, Joe. I would never kick you under the table.
Partner A continually complains that the dishes aren't done. Partner,
that ain't me, y'all.
Well, no, that's why I'm using A and B and all that. Partner B finally washes the dishes solely to make the nagging stop. Partner B's behavior of doing chores is negatively reinforced by the removal of the nagging.
I hope I don't know nobody like that, because surely, y'all, in 2026, we ain't nagging nobody.
I suspect
no
there's
spouse.
I suspect there's some people out there now, and they're don't turn us off. If it's touching your heart, don't. You
can't be nagging. Save that for something important. Dishes ain't gonna matter. It's just a dish.
Or conflict withdrawal is the next one. During an argument, partner A gets overly emotional, leading to shouting or intense pressure. So partner B shuts down, changes the subject, or just gives in. Partner B's withdrawal provides immediately psychological relief because the argument is over with, but it reinforces the behavior of avoiding conflict rather than resolving it.
And then that snowball is just getting bigger and bigger.
Snowball gets bigger and bigger.
What you gonna do? Avoid it again?
Or we do over accommodation. Now, this end has a good side and a bad side, both. But the bad side is partner A minimizes their own needs or immediately agrees to demands simply to prevent partner B from becoming disappointed or emotionally volatile. This is where this is what, in a common sense, you would call the "I'll just do it" trap. And again, you're not resolving anything. Partner A complains about how partner B folds the laundry and creates the tension, and partner B finds says, "Fine,
Yeah, come on now.
fine, come on."
It's 2026. We're not doing this
Don't
in
turn this
2026.
off. Listen, if your conscience,
If you don't like the way he folds
if-
the laundry, fold it yourself.
if your conscience,
I teach him. Don't just show him one time and then get mad because he didn't do it right. Teach him. Somebody taught you, you teach him or her. In our household, we Joe is good. He's a real breakfast person. He got to have his breakfast and coffee to start his day and get his run and his ride. Okay. So I'm not a breakfast person. I tried it when we first got married. I tried getting up early with my husband and spending that time with him at the breakfast table. I don't really eat breakfast like that. So it was not working for me. So, but thankfully I have a husband that's very flexible, that knows how to pivot with me and allowed me to do my own thing. And so he fixes breakfast. I'll ask him, and sometimes I don't have to ask him. He'll fix me. I like either Polish beef sausage, but now that I got my new teeth all correctly done, I can have some bacon, y'all, which I love. Don't come at me telling me about what's in it, but I don't care.
See,
I love it.
we don't care at this point. I'll cook your
72.
bacon. Yeah,
72.
you want
I'm gonna
bacon,
eat
baby?
my
I'll
bacon.
make you some bacon.
So yeah, he cooks me bacon. But we clean up after ourselves unless we've had a big party and we'll do things together. But my husband is big on he was a caregiver for 30 plus years. He's very big on cleaning up after himself. He does his own laundry and I do my own laundry. We save our shared things for more personal, more intimate things. We're not tripping over, like he'll say, "Don't wash my dishes, I'm coming back. I just went to change my clothes." Well, if I beat him to it, I'm gonna wash it. But I don't trip over it. I like washing dishes by hand. We do have a dishwasher, and again, if we have a big party or something, we use the dishwasher when we have a lot of stuff. But it's two people, so we're not doing a whole lot. And when I cook dinner, I clean as I go because I don't like stuff stacked up and then you got through eating and you feeling all good because the meal was so good. And then you got a kitchen full of dishes. No, I wash my stuff as I go. So I'm washing and putting it away as soon as I get through. But we don't trip over stuff like that.
But the good side of the accommodation phase of this is where we put one another's needs ahead of the other one. And you're in there cooking because you know that I've been out doing whatever and you want me to have something to eat, or I'll come in and help you clean up the dishes or do whatever. We put one another. There's a good side to this as well. The bad side is where we're just doing it because we're not resolving any conflict. There's a good side to this is where you have, like what you were talking about sharing those responsibilities. And
we determined how we were going to handle conflict before we got married. We didn't wait till we got married and had a conflict and what we're supposed to do. No, we talked about all those things in the beginning, that we would take it literally. That don't let the sun go down on our wrath. We're not going to bed mad. We're not angry with each other. And thankfully, I have not experienced anything where I've been angry at Joe. 9 months coming up Saturday, and I have not been angry. Joe is so easy. God could not have given me an easier man to be with, because God know I'm extra. I'm divalicious and I'm extra, and he know I'm high maintenance, but I was maintaining myself before my man showed up, so it's okay.
But and this took place because we intentionally discussed and built the relationship and the shaping of behaviors before we ever got married.
We
intentionally did these things.
Yeah.
We as opposed to the situation where the conflict, expression of affection, the labor dividing, the habits and responsibilities around the house are just imitating parents or society or media as we see that. Individuals often imitate the communication lifestyles that they observed growing up. For instance, if one spouse observed their parents using that god awful, dreaded silent treatment to resolve arguments, they tend to do, well, that's what my dad did. He just shut up. And it is, in fact, what my dad would do. He'd just stomp out of the house and go to the garage, and then mom wouldn't speak to him. And
I'm so glad you didn't pick that up, baby.
Yeah, but I said early on, because as we watch the parenting going on, and as me as a child, and I love my mom, dad, I appreciate all that. But man, what I remember from all that, and everybody's dead and gone now, that counts as far as any of this goes. So I can say it, man, all I remember is them knock down, drag out fights. That's what I remember. And I said early on, I don't want my life to be like that. I don't want my marriages to be like that. I don't want to be like that with anyone I spend my life with.
Yeah.
And it was an intentional shaping. I'm not doing that. That's not what I want.
Yeah, same. Because you can build a kind of family that you really need to have based on the two people that are involved in that relationship. What, as far as division of labor and all that kind of thing, what does that look like? Well, it may look different household to household, but as long as the two people involved, is it really working for them? Now, because some people are involved in a situation and it's really not working for them, but they're doing it because that's what somebody said, or that's what, they learned.
That's what dad did, because dad wouldn't help mom no matter how much. He didn't do laundry. He didn't do any of that. No.
Where did you learn to do laundry, Jeff?
I said I wasn't going to do that. And that was in the days when, and this is going to really date me, but dad wore those tan khaki pants, and they had these wire things that mom would put in the pants so it'd stretch them out, and when they hung them on the line.
No, I don't know nothing about that.
You don't know nothing about that? Oh, well, dad had to have those so the crease they'd hang on the line and try make her do all that. And I'm like, this is not the way to live. I said right off. But we look at, for those of you who are listening, as you look back on your experiences, I'm trying to share things that are very real and very practical. As you look back on your experience as a children and realize how that's shaping. If it's bad, don't let it shape your current behavior and your current relationships. We have to intentionally look at our lives and our relationships and intentionally shape them with our behaviors.
Yeah, because each person is different. So each couple is going to be different.
Of course,
there are going to be core things that are the same, like the bills got to be paid and food got to be cooked and house got to be clean, clothes got to be washed. Okay, those are. But who does it? There's no set thing that says the man got to be the one to do it or the woman got to be the one to do it. You talk about those things, and because maybe you're really not good at keeping the books just because you're the man. Maybe that's really not your strong suit. So should you be doing that? Probably not. Joe and I both haven't been married before we came to the table, and we talked about what things would he do, what things I would do, and what things we would do for ourselves. So we make it work, but we made it work based on conversation, being realistic conversation, because we're two retired people, even though we working on birthing some businesses, because these streams are nice, but they need to be better. Mama needs more. Mama needs more. So, but just having conversation, you're not going to have a strong relationship if you don't talk. And if all you can do is puff up and huff up and get mad and cuss up, and that's not going to build anything. We're talking about relationships that can last, and something that is a pattern that other people really need to follow, not just something they got used to being around or what. No, you need something that's going to maintain you for as long as you're alive, and be able to build on that. And if you're dating and you can't even talk to the person you dating because you scared they'll get mad or you're scared they'll leave. That ain't your person. Let me tell you, that is not your person.
No.
Because you should not be afraid to talk to your person. Now, I'm not saying if you're approaching something that's sensitive or critical, you do find the right timing, the right place, and the right words. But you still got to have a conversation. There's nothing Joe and I can't talk about. And trust me, we have talked about a lot and we will continue to talk about a lot. As you can see, I'm a talker. He's a pastor, so we talk. But we want to build the kind of family that is an example for other people to say, I can do that. I can take
right. So we have to, you have to be careful and you have to be thoughtful. If you look back and because partners will model even their emotional availability based on what they saw as they're growing up. And like as in my case, I'm like, that's not what I want. If a spouse grew up seeing their parents verbally validate one another and show affection, and I look back and I'm just being very honest about it all. I never remember seeing my parents kiss. And so if you look back and think that's the way you're supposed to act, then that limits your ability to share that affection. If you look back and you see that that's what influences you, then you hesitate and you're not willing or not easily where you can struggle with intimacy and these things, because you're still looking. I don't care what dad did. I don't care what mom did. And I'm not being hateful. I'm saying we need to look at our behaviors and intentionally structure our behaviors in order to have a thoughtful and even if it's something, catch one another being good. And I probably do this one too much. When your kids or your wife or your husband or whatever does something good, say, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you sitting there and letting me express that to you. Thanks for being so thoughtful. And I know you didn't feel good, but you fixed this, and I really appreciate it. And it tastes so good, because it really beats what I used to eat, which roll up a hot dog and a tortilla, but I call that supper. When couples are talking or then honey, tell me again, because I'm really trying to understand. I'm really trying to understand where you're coming from. Catch people being good. Yeah. Give them that kind of praise.
And we do that.
We do. Sure we do. But those of you who are out there that are listening to this, do you do that? It is one of those applications and skills, that you have to intentionally focus on doing.
Saying thank you for the meal. Thank you for opening the door.
Yeah.
Not that he has to. My hands work, but I appreciate the fact that he treats me that way, a certain way. And we think about my scriptures, Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance, because I'm taking it on into from family into legacy. And the legacy is a transferring of values, beliefs, behaviors, and blessings. I think we transferred our values, our beliefs, our behaviors, especially behavior, but we don't always transfer the blessing from one generation to the next, which helps to shape the family's identity, our culture, and our future outcomes, so that people know that people want to find a work-life balance when they're 20-some years old. Boo, it ain't going to happen at 20-something unless you started when you was 2. It takes time to really get in the rhythm of your own life, let alone when you get in a relationship and get in a marriage. It takes time to find that balance, but you need to come to the table with you having that figured out already. But I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that like that. If you're 20-something years old, trying to find that rhythm is not going to be something that you can find usually at 20 something years old, because that's the time that we work hard and we sacrifice and we push to be able to have the different outcome that we want later on in life. But we doesn't mean we can't have and enjoy things in our 20s. No, it doesn't mean that, but it just means that is kind of more or less a time of sacrifice, because I'm sacrificing to sow and to build something for my later years so that I can really enjoy it. I don't have to punch a clock or don't have to go to the office or those kind of things. But we need to work on transferring the blessings that come with legacy. And Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man or woman, because it's talking about humankind, not man as gender, leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Now, I'm not skipping over my kids to bless my grandkids. The kids is built in, but to leave an inheritance to my children's children, my grandchildren. But the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. So there's a lot of inheritances out here that we have yet to obtain, and we there's only certain ways that that's going to happen, but we have to follow the intentional plan of God that he has for each of our lives, to so that I follow it as an individual, then I come together in a marriage, then we produce children, and that blessing that I have on me, he who finds a wife obtains favor from the Lord. So that is on me when Joe and I got together, and then he brought favor too. So then we're not having kids at 72. Trust and
Thank
believe,
God.
because we already got great grandkids.
Yeah,
That don't mean we don't
no,
do
we're
the
not.
things.
We're not
We
going back
enjoy
there.
the things.
We're not going back
We
there.
just not producing the things. But we get to enjoy this time together because we set out with certain intentions and things that we wanted out of our relationship. Again, we're not trying to keep up with the Joneses and do everything everybody else do. We're not worried about what the other people do. That's their lane. We have our own lane that we're working on to build. But being able to go and enjoy this life and spend time exploring and having adventure and doing things that we have never done together as a couple. He may have done some things and I may have done something, but to be able to do them as a couple, that's where our intention is, so that we can build the kind of family relationship that we want to have. And then we enjoy spending time with our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids. It seems like when you got as many as we have, then it's always something going on with, because it's a birthday or a graduation or a awards assembly or being honored somewhere. It's just always something to do. So, but we choose to fill our life with these moments and spend that time loving on our family and letting them know these are memories that we get to build along the way, things that they'll remember. Papa was at my birthday party and he gave me a card with money in it. Woohoo. So, it's just those little things that you think don't really matter. No, they go a long way, because if you think back on your own life, your own childhood, the things that I value most were the moments with my grandmother, being able to sit on that floor while she sat in that rocking chair and poured into me and told me things about myself, helped me to understand my own identity.
So you brought up legacy, family legacy, and that brought up another issue that I'd thought about. Is if again, what are some family behaviors that tend to repeat themselves? My original question, and that brings up holiday and event-based anxiety. Let me paint the scenario.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Oh, yeah. During childhood, for example, your annual family holiday dinners, probably mostly Thanksgiving and Christmas, had frequently became the backdrop for severe arguments between relatives. Now, I know there's nobody listening that's been a part of this, but then we become, if conditioned, just look when we start to drag out those Christmas decorations or whatever it is, and then we just think, I don't want to do that. We lose that when the situations many times later, decades later, an adult may still feel those same dread or panic in setting it up and dreading having, even though the family dynamics have changed. Another one that I thought of is the when I was growing up, I have got two older sisters. One has already passed away, and anytime we had a family funeral, it was a free for all, and everybody involved in this is long dead and gone now. It was short of I've got my older sister's in her 80s and she's still around, but the rest of them, everybody else is gone. A free for all, people showing up, trying to see what they could get and trying to see what my brother-in-law, when my dad passed away, family members were showing up trying to get into dad's garage and get his tools and get them in their car. And we literally had to ask people to leave for that stuff, trying to divide stuff up in this big free for all about who gets what.
Yeah.
And then that, if that will bring us to that point, because that's what we feel, that tension, that anxiety over that. And we will tend to, just say I'm not going to funerals. Because it makes me so upset, because I remember when mom, dad, and cousin Bernie died, and this big fight got up at who was going to get what. And, these are these family things. Even though we become conditioned, it doesn't justify us continuing to allow this kind of anxiety to exist in our lives. And those family, I think we can probably all look back and see those times when that's exactly what happened in those big family gatherings, and the fights and the fussing, and you just like, fool you on it. I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean, just we ain't going into it, but yeah, but just to say those are not things that you want to happen. So it kind of goes back to a show we had a few weeks back about grief, where if you have a plan, have a full plan, not just I want to use this funeral home and I want this Old Testament scripture, the New Testament scripture, who I want to sing, who I want to pray, who I want to do my eulogy, but have a full plan. If you got a painting or anything of value, so that people are not left to fight over stuff or just steal things that they, what makes that distant cousin who you never ain't even ever seen think they're entitled to something from your family member before you get to check it out? But it's just, it's something about when somebody dies, it's like we turn into something else sometimes.
Amen.
That is a family dynamic that we don't want to continue.
That's right.
We don't want to, and people are picking sides and they acting crazy and they doing this and they doing that. And don't add alcohol and drugs to the problem, because then it just exacerbates. It just gets that much worse. So, but again, these family relationships have to be dealt with in a certain way. And you might have family members that things are not real cool with you. Sorry. But you just, and I'm meaning to kick you on the table, but when I move my leg, your leg is over here on my side. So I did it accidentally again. But, and if you have to have boundaries in place on how you're going to be treated, how you're going to be respected, and how you're going to be honored. And if you have done all the things that you can possibly do in a family relationship and it still is not anything but toxic, then let it go. Give it to the Lord and walk away. And then God's on time, and He'll let that stuff cook, and you will know when it's ready, because you ain't got to keep running back and go, oh, is it cake done yet? Is the cake done? No, it's still cooking. Let it cook. And He will let you know when it's time to get back involved with that person. And it may be never, because some people, they thrive off of toxicity and trauma and drama and craziness and foolishness. At my age, I don't want to deal with none of that. I mean, none of it. I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me. I'm not going to allow you to be dishonorable to me. I'm not going to, things I have put up with in my younger life. I'm 72, baby. I ain't got time for none of it. I'm gonna check you. I'm gonna locate you and notate you. Either way, you're so far pushed out of my inner circle, it don't even matter. Because I don't have time for foolishness. I'm trying to be about my life and enjoy the rest of the time that I have. And I don't know how long that's going to be, but I don't expect it to be short. I'm just 9 months in. So, but you don't have to tolerate, and that doesn't mean that you don't forgive the person. You have to be willing to forgive the
Sure.
craziness because
Sure, that'll eat
something
at you.
happened while that person is that way. But
Mhm.
they have to accept ownership and not choose to just keep being crazy and get mad and blow up and cuss everybody out. Look, I'm a 3 strike you out kind of girl. I'm patient and I will give you opportunity. But you do that to me 3 times, I will cut you so fast. And when I mean cut you out of my life, because I don't have time to keep riding this merry-go-round, hoping and praying we're going to end up somewhere different. No, I'm going to push you to the side and let you go do you, because whatever I got going on over here, it's just not working. So I'm going to let you go do you. I'm going to do me. And if we meet at some point in the future, great and wonderful. But if not, I'm still going to be good. That's the thing about it. Is some people think because you don't deal with them no more that you over here pining away. Boo, I'm living my best life. I'm not pining away over nothing. I pray and I give it to God, and then I'm going on because I still have so many things yet that I want to do before I leave here. So I can't sit and pine away over this person or that situation. But I do not pine. I do not pine. I'm the girl that I didn't even find out till I started taking counseling classes, that with all the traumatic situations that happened to me in my lifetime all at once, kind of boom, 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 that I was supposed to stop and work through it a certain kind of way. And it was like I was in a bubble. So even though stuff was coming at me, it didn't directly impact me. I was able to keep going, keep moving, keep pushing, that's why I'm Dr. Ellouise today, because I didn't stop. Life happened to me for me, but it didn't stop me because I depend on God. And I know this ain't Bible study or nothing like that, but we talking about love in real life. That's the only way I have gotten to where I am today. That's the only way I have met this man that's sitting
Amen.
next
That's
to me
for sure.
today. It's because I depend on God.
Amen.
Not that things haven't happened. Oh, yeah, stuff happened real bad. You're in a marriage for 30 years and the husband cheats all the time. That's real bad stuff. But once I decided who I had to be apart from that, I found myself. I found my identity and I just kept pushing. We're going to talk about identity crisis next week, so I don't want to get too much into it. But just saying, you have to have something bigger than yourself to help you get through any
Absolutely.
dark situation, help you change behavior when you find out that what you're doing really is not working. It takes more than a hope and a prayer. It takes action connected to the hope and the prayer.
Intentional shaping of behavior, intentional looking into ourselves, intentional learning and thinking about our relationships with people and within family and within parenting situations. It is intentional. You who are listening, you have to look. I can't do it for you. There's plenty of counseling stuff out there to look at. But you have to look at yourself. You have to look and intentionally shape that behavior.
Yeah, because it's not automatic.
It's
You
not
have to
automatic.
be willing
You
to
have
do
to
the
work at it.
work. If you're going to be a good employee, be a good employee in your own life first.
Mhm.
Work on you, and then work on your relationships and work to have something better than what you had yesterday. That's always my goal. I pray and ask God all the time, teach me how to be the wife that Joe needs, not somebody else's, because I'm only married to him. So teach me how to be his wife. I'm not caught up in what everybody say. I know as a friend, she said it in the, well, traditionally, I stopped it right there.
Ooh, yeah.
What about this relationship right here is traditional? I just anybody can tell me. Clue a sister in, because I don't know what that would be. But you can't even let well-meaning friends say what they got to say, and then you take it to heart. I'm not love you, but I'm not listening to that. That your lifestyle and what you believe does not work for me. We are different. We're real different. And that just doesn't work for me. So I'm not about to let what you're saying come over here and muddy my water. My water real clear. I like clear water. I like clear water. It's beautiful. We went to Destin for our honeymoon. Beautiful water, white sandy beaches. Oh my gosh. Can't wait to go back.
Right, you ready for my last bombshell of the day?
Okay, I think I'm buckled in over here.
Conflict in parenting roles, disagreements, parents disagreeing over screen time, bedtime routines, food choices, homework habits, disciplinary methods, and how children dress, especially if you're going to let that young lady go out that door dressed like that. How do we work all this out?
Go ahead.
We have to find common ground in divided family relationships and go beyond merely there are various philosophies for raising children. And the number one thing that we need to do is always present a unified front in front of the children. And if you have differences, discuss them privately away from the kids, not in front of them.
Amen. you cannot bring a unified front if you divide it. Hello. But you got to get unified apart from the kids before you present situations to them and talk to them about things, and do it in a calm manner. We're not arguing with kids. Number one, I see this today and it just chaps my head. Why are you arguing with a child? You shouldn't be arguing with an adult, but a lot of people, that's their style. But you don't argue with a child. You don't get into power struggles with children. I am the adult authority in the family. I'm going to say this. Now, as I got older, it was the older parent, the not so good version of myself. I said it, you heard it, you better do it. That was my attitude.
So there's the strict authoritarian approach.
Yes, because that's what I learned. But then when I really learned about parenting, when I learned about parenting in the neighborhood and the culture, the community, it was everywhere, the church, it was everywhere. So, but when I really learned about parenting a child as an individual, not as a project, but as an individual human being, then I learned to do it differently and approach it differently. And you don't holler and scream. You're having a discussion, just like we have discussions.
So now you have the fluid flexibility approach.
Because that's what's going to work.
You're correct.
I'm not saying you were wrong, even though I do be right a lot. But I'm not saying you're wrong. But I'm just saying, yeah, you're right.
So as you try to work those things out, then so much of what you were talking about and what anybody else talked about is how we saw our parents parent. And we tend to model that. And many times it is non-productive. We have to look at the results of what is going on. And even as the number one thing out there again is discuss the differences privately. And I know it's tough, but present that united front in front of the kids, set very clear rules, and it is what it is. You're not going to do this by this point, and at that point you will be allowed to do this as long as you do that. Very, very clear, very concise, and then stick to it. Not change later once you've made that.
Yeah, and don't let them pit you against each other.
Don't let them play
what
that
Dad
game.
said or Mom said. I'm that person. Well, let's go talk to your dad then. Oh, let me get him on the phone. Oh, he ain't home. Let me get him on the phone. Because what you're not going to do is trap me.
So find a common way to discuss the situation, especially when you end up with parents disagreeing on how we ought to deal with this situation or deal with that one. One thing you can do is try a legitimate compromise and say, okay, let's try this for 2 weeks, and then we'll see what the results are. And then we'll try it your way for 2 weeks, and let's see. Don't tell the kids what we're doing. This takes place behind the scenes. And let's see what the results are. Which one tends to change the kids' behavior? Because we have the tactics of parenting. That's how we do it. but we need to be unified on the why, the purpose of parenting, which is to produce our children that live productive and happy, healthy lives.
That's the outcome.
That's the
Everybody
outcome.
just deserves to be happy, to be seen, to be heard, to be understood.
Sure. Tactics are how we parent. The purpose is why we parent.
And I think that's probably something a lot of people have not asked themselves. Why am I parenting this child?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one God gave you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one He gave you. He knew that you had within you. Now, whether you do it or not, He knew you had within you. Because promise, I wanted 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. That I thought that would be all I could handle. That's enough for anybody. 2 kids. Why was I pregnant 7 times? 2 in heaven, 5 on earth. But God knew what I needed to be this parent to my kids and what kids needed to come to me. So He picked the kids that He chose to come to me, to give to me as a mother. And I did my best. Wasn't perfect. I've apologized many times for things that I did because I didn't mean for it to be like that. But my kids know to this day that I love them.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter-in-law is married to my middle son. She thanks me often, even to this day, and they've been married well over 10 years. Thank you for raising your son to be the kind of man that he is. And that's a blessing for me to know that those Bible study and prayer and all those things, conversations and things that we had, that it was intentional. I don't want you to be one of these boys going out here slinging his penis everywhere, because it's easy to get a girl to gap. All you do, and I don't mean be giving you guys game, because I probably not, because y'all probably already know. You tell a woman certain things, it strokes something deeper than her outside. It strokes her emotions. And if you keep stroking those emotions, you can probably get her to do just about anything. Because most young girls today, and women older, even my age, don't know who they are.
Amen.
So we're vulnerable to you to shape us into what, and especially if I need to be like this and I'm gonna be like this and I need to be like that. I can tell you, because I've been there, done it. But I determined that coming out of my marriage, going through my healing process, learning who I was, that from now on, I'm going to be who I am. I am straightforward. I am direct, but I care.
Intentional shaping of behavior.
Yes. That was what I chose. I am going to be all of who God created me to be. And if it's too much for other people, then baby, I might not be your cup of tea, but you can still be blessed by the fragrance of my aroma. I still say it. I might not be your cup of tea. That's okay. I'm Joe's cup of tea. And I explained to him in the beginning, we had all the deep talks. I explained that I am a lot, but I can maintain myself with the help of God. But thankfully, God gave me a husband that He maintains me too.
Yeah.
So, but we have a great family relationship. We want great family relationships for you all. It takes work. It takes conversation.
We're trying to give you the tools to do it with.
Yeah. Identifying the root cause of any problems. Go to the root. Don't deal with the surface, because you got to get up underneath that if you really don't want to keep going through the same thing. Plan a way forward. When Joe and I were in a courtship, because we didn't date, we went straight from meeting one day, getting engaged, and going and planning marriage. Plan a way forward. How do we, if we have situations, how we develop how we would handle our situations. If anything arose, this is how we're going to deal with it. Set and respect boundaries. Include forgiveness, acceptance, listening, and have a safe environment. Work on shared goals. We're not enemies. We're not competing.
No.
We complement each other. It's a give and receive cycle that we live every single day. And if need be, seek professional help, because you might not can get there by yourself. You might need some assistance. But if you're consistent and patient and willing to put in the time, add prayer, guidance, and effort, you can rebuild a stronger connection and have the kind of family you really want to enjoy.
And now we burned up our time.
Well, hey, we had a great time doing it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope we said something today that you want to listen to. And join us again next Tuesday for Love in Real Life.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for this week's show. Thank you for tuning in to Love in Real Life. We enjoyed our time together and we hope you did too. We invite you to join us again next Tuesday at 2 for a relationship reset. Remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, and comment. Our YouTube channel is Dr. Ellouise and Joseph Hill at Hill of Love, or email us at joe.lhill@gmail.com.